All right, guys. So my presentation today is on the smartboard. Okay, now smartboard's been around for quite a while, and some people believe it's still going out. But they're a really good tool to use for teachers and for students as well, and for increasing instruction. As far as the school goes, in supporting the teachers on this, what I would do if I was a principal is, one, I would fund the project to buy these, first of all, and then also I'd provide the funds to maintain the whiteboards and provide someone to be able to come in and to train all the teachers on the whiteboard, or the smartboard, excuse me, to get an example of all the things that it can do so we can use it to its full capacity. Now in my school, for example, we have Mr. Slack over here, who is our trainer for our school. So I'm going to call him up here real quick, and what he's going to do is he's going to show you guys all the features that a whiteboard or a smartboard can do. Can't even call it a whiteboard. And also he's going to give some examples of some things he does in his class, in his math class, with the smartboard.
Hello, teachers. So what we do in my class, as a math class that I use my board for, I use a lot with the calculators. I have the handheld calculators for the students to use, and then I also have the program for the students that I can use for my computer. And what it does, it's nice and handy to be able to push the buttons on the calculator so that the kids can follow along with what they are doing, so they can see how the graphs are done, and then we can talk about different things of how changing the slope then changes the values of that. So the kids really like that. We also use it with the functions itself. This is a presentation that I have for polynomials and identifying the different parts of the polynomial. I like to use this. I have it set up so there are multiple layers on this, and highlight particular parts. So here I have, when we're talking about the degree of the polynomial, and then you can come over and highlight that same particular part on the example. And then you can also switch the color. Hopefully this is kind of showing up on your video of the coefficients. And then we are talking and highlight the coefficients. So we have like the 9 and the -3 and the +5. And so that gives the kids visual representation of what those values also are. And then having the slide kind of preset, you can also then go back in, and I want to erase that. And you can also do like a quick kind of a quiz, you know, have the kids start off with a new piece of paper and then throw that back up and see, without using their notes, do they remember the things that we just talked about. Another one that I also like to use is the graph board itself. Here again, we're plotting points, and we have the X and Y axis is put up there. My students have the same graph board that they're working on. I just took a picture of this board and saved it onto my computer so that the picture and image that they have on in front of them is what we're also using up on here. It's a great tool. The kids like it. They like to come up and work problems on here as well as the regular whiteboards. So anyway, that's kind of some simple examples of what we use it for.
Mr. Slack, thank you very much. And another thing that you brought to mind was that you can make presentations with this, just like he did here. Now the great thing is that he can actually save these on his computer. And so the next time he does this lesson, he can bring up the exact same graphs he did before with the same notes he did before and same marks and everything, and use that for another class. And of course he can get rid of the layers and add layers upon this, or he can erase new notes he takes if he wants to, or even have students come to the board and they can work these out up here as well. And that's the great thing about this, is that you can also get students involved in this process. For example, in my classroom, I do not have enough computers for all my students, all right? And we do not have a computer lab in this school. However, I have some great programs like simulation programs for like space and DNA and things like that, where we can actually navigate through the human body, through the universe, going to different planets and nebulas and stars and stuff. Well, I can sit here and do this by myself, and other students watch, and they like that actually. But how much more effective would it be to get the students up here at the board, one at a time or in groups, to show a certain feature that this program does. That's where they really learn, and that's one way that I've used this. Now, our history teacher, he uses this for all of his PowerPoint presentations. How great is it to be up in front of your classroom, not having to be at your computer, to navigate through a PowerPoint, just using your pen to go through each one of these, taking notes, answering questions and things like that. Also too, we have our journalism class, and our teacher in there, she uses these for presentations. So her students will make up some sort of animation or video or something, and then when they give these to the class, they get to come up to this board, and they're the ones leading the class. They're the directors, they're the ones going through this presentation and teaching their peers. So the smart boards are just much more than a way to show videos or to show a graph or to show a PowerPoint. There's all kinds of applications they can do, and for our students in my school, in this local facility, it's really an advantage. But really for anybody, no matter what size your school is, this is really an advantage to have in your classroom. And the great thing about whiteboards is they're not prejudiced. They don't care who you are. Technology is for everybody. Anybody can learn how to use these whiteboards. And that's what's great, because when a kid does a presentation on a whiteboard, they can put their own spin on this. They can put into a dialogue, a language that they understand, and so it applies more to them, and perhaps their students will understand it better that way. That's kind of how these whiteboards can cover diversity. Any kind of group of people, doesn't matter what culture or ethnicity you're from, can benefit from these whiteboards or smart boards. And I go again, and Mr. Slack, one thing he didn't tell you is that when he's doing geometry, for example, what he'll do is he'll throw up pictures of different places around the world. It might be a temple somewhere, or like a pyramid, or something down in South America, and I'll have the kids measure it out and try to figure out each side and shape. And on occasion, you have a kid that says, oh, I've been there before, or hey, my grandparents in Mexico grew up not far from that pyramid. That's kind of cool. I've been there before, And so really, it's all encompassing as far as cultures go as well. And this is one way that we in my school would promote, support, and use these smart boards for the benefit of the teachers and also for the benefit of the students. Thanks.